we were thrust into existence, disconnected from all except the truth of your own experience. Yet, we keep seeking for meaning, for a truth underlying it all. This seems like a never-ending struggle. But what if the meaning that we seek is accessible to us after all? And what if meaning is not something that we build on top of an otherwise meaningless existence? What if the meaning we seek is the disclosure of what your own existence already is, and always was? The meaning that we seek, the meaning of life, the meaning of existence, our own purpose, seems to be a central quest for the human meaning-seeking mind. Our minds seek and embed meaning in words, art, music, action, emotion, sometimes clouds, shadows, and even toast. Meaning, as we commonly understand it, is the thing that something expresses or represents. The meaning of the sentence, "This apple is green," expresses and represents the green phenomenal quality of a particular apple. In a way, you could say that if this statement is true, the sentence is expressing truth. The meaning of X is the truth or untruth that it expresses. Let's try to understand this better. The sentence, "This apple is green," itself encodes information that represents and expresses truth. The same way as the image you're seeing right now encodes the truth of the capacitors and transistors inside of your device. If I say that this apple is red, it does not encode information that expresses truth. It encodes information that only partially represents truth. A computer cannot display an image that is not in accordance with the truth of the bits, because the pixels of the screen and the hardware are in direct causal relationship. However, we do not work like this. The sentences that we utter are oftentimes disconnected from truth. Perhaps this is the predicament we are in. The meaning that we seek is the truth of our existence, but our minds are seemingly disconnected from this truth. It is not that there is no meaning to be found, but that we're disconnected from truth itself. We're left to our own devices, our cognition, emotion, and desire. The animals that we are preoccupied with a world of concerns that does not concern itself with the truth that we seek. It concerns itself only with the truth of the mind that it experiences. To us, truth appears inaccessible. You can see your screen, yes, but you only have direct access to the truth of your own experience. The truth of the thing itself, the screen independent of your experience, is completely inaccessible. So, truth is inaccessible. So is meaning. Right? Not quite. Remember that not all truths are inaccessible. So, the question is now, is the meaning that we seek accessible or inaccessible? If our specific question is, why does anything exist at all, or do we survive death? We could be in trouble, since the truth of the origin of the universe or the truth of the afterlife probably does not exist within our consciousness. Gladly, this is not the meaning that we seek. The meaning of these types of questions only serve to get us closer to the meaning that truly matters to us. Metaphysics is completely secondary to the spiritual quest for meaning. I believe it is something even more fundamental to our experience. More accurate questions that represent the truth of the seeking could be more like, what is my purpose? What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of existence? We seek for an underlying truth in our own existence. Another definition of meaning is importance and value. Are these two different types of meaning, truth meaning and value meaning, or are these two different definitions actually referring to the same thing? Conventionally speaking, they can be two different types of meaning, since value and truth appear as two completely different concepts. However, if we look closely, the importance and value of the sentence, "This flower is beautiful," is actually the truth that it expresses. Although it is slightly harder to see, I would also like to argue that the truth that the sentence expresses is indeed its importance and value. It may be that they are one and the same thing, and at least in the context of meaning, they seem absolutely inseparable. So, not only do we seek for a truth beneath our existence, but we also seek to understand our true value and importance. we oftentimes think of our value externally. If others accept us, love us, embrace us, find us useful, consider us good, etc., we can consider ourselves valuable. I believe this is the most common way we derive self-value. However, herein lies something a bit problematic. Let's actually consider expression of truth and value as the same thing in this context. First, we can say that your meaning is the value derived from others' love. Then we can equivalently say that your meaning is the expression of the truth of others' love of you. That is, your meaning is that you express a truth that someone else loves you. Now, why is this an unsatisfying answer? Indeed, for some, it may be satisfying, but the most obvious problem is that meaning is left outside of our own experience, therefore inaccessible. Sure, we have access to the truth of the experience that arises from the other signals as hugs and warm words, but the truth of the love that the other experiences is truly inaccessible. We do not have access to the feelings of others. If you really are satisfied with this answer for the question of our meaning, then perhaps you can say that meaning is inaccessible. But our search is not at all over. Another interesting detail we may notice is that the love of the other is not felt directly. Humans cannot send emotions through the air to another. What is instead felt is something that arises within oneself. What is felt is the feeling of value. If I may, I would actually rather put it as what is felt is the revelation of value. See, we expect our value to be derived externally, and so we cannot allow ourselves to possess value internally. In the moment we get our external validation, we do not gain value. We allow our inherent value to be revealed to us. I say this because the feeling was not transmitted from another. Rather, it was waiting for permission to show itself. Here, value manifests itself as a form of happiness and ease, whereas suffering is the very thing that obscures value. What makes it possible that value can be revealed to us this way? If your value is capable of being revealed to you from within you, then there must be a reservoir of value within you, at least some sort of a potential within yourself, for there is no other source. And if value manifests as happiness and ease, then it seems possible that you have inherent happiness within you, and even that is waiting to be revealed. And as we can see when we meditate and seize our mental activity, happiness begins to arise. Instead of doing something to gain happiness, we stop and let it arise naturally. As with many metaethical theories, happiness and value have a very intimate relationship. How intimate that is not in the scope of this essay, but we can surely conclude that they absolutely walk hand in hand. Here, we're approaching this fully phenomenologically. But perhaps this is also implying something metaphysical. It doesn't prove the metaphysics, but it motivates the following investigation. Can we still here equate value and expression of truth, or have we stepped beyond meaning? I believe we can. If I'm right, then something interesting occurs. Remember, the value of X is the truth that it expresses, and by definition, your meaning is the truth that you express. If we trust that we have inherent value, then what is the truth that we inherently express? As we see with value and happiness, what we seek is within us. The truth that we express must be a truth that sits deep within our being, a truth that is the most fundamental aspect of our being. And it must be the most fundamental aspect because if it wasn't, it too would be expressing some deeper truth. We must reach a truth that is not an expression of a deeper truth. At least, go as deep as possible. And the only option for me is being itself. Because every other point where you could land requires existence, that is, being. To be anything in the first place. Being. The truth that you are. I am. In fact, we must remove the subject. we are not speaking of a you or I that is. We are exclusively speaking of the are-ness and amness. So, if the meaning that we seek is the expression of the truth of being and value of happiness, don't we have two different answers still? Consider the yogi that describes the subjective experience of ultimate reality, the non-dual Brahman, as Sat Chittananda. Sat stands for being, Chit for consciousness, and Ananda, happiness or bliss. See, the yogi would say that these three are still different expressions of the one ineffable truth. We can lend this idea here. Expression of being and happiness are two expressions of a still deeper meaning. But as the yogi would say, you cannot express it. If you did, it would only be an expression of the truth. So, we must stick with these two and trust in their unity. Are we now ready to answer the ultimate question of the meaning of our existence? Well, unfortunately, the true analytical unification of value meaning and truth meaning seems impossible. But at least we have two different options. The one derived from value meaning is the least satisfying. The meaning of our existence is happiness. The blandest, most cliché answer one can imagine. But indeed, it does make sense considering our constant pursuit for happiness. There is a space for nuance, however. As we've noticed in the process of this analysis, happiness is an aspect of our very being. The pursuit of happiness is not a matter of obtaining, it is a matter of revealing. And as we attempt to unify this formulation for meaning in our experience with the following, we approach the true non-dual meaning. The meaning of our existence is the expression of being itself. For our meaning is the truth that we express, and the truth that we express is being. This is spiritually very potent. It may be that the whole of the spiritual journey can be summarized as a learning process of how we can better reveal our happiness and how we can better express being itself and what it means in the first place. I do not mean the expression of a type of being, or your being in particular, but being itself. Perhaps it would be useful in the spiritual path to understand how being unfolds into innumerable expressions. You and I, a leaf and a feather, a bird and a bat. To know what it means to express being. And perhaps that is not a metaphysical quest, but one of meditatively unifying happiness and expression of being into the non-dual value-truth, truth-value. To say that there is no meaning at all is to deny truth itself. But truth and meaning do exist, and the deepest, most profound meaning is one that may be accessible to us right now. Meaning is not fundamentally something that we manufacture and attach to an otherwise meaningless existence. Instead, meaning may be the disclosure of what existence already is. If we want to find what we seek, we must orient ourselves towards this direction outlined in this essay. To open our minds and hearts to the meaning that sits even beyond the duality of happiness and being. This essay is an invitation to do just that. Do not trust what I say blindly. Look within yourself without imposing judgment or interpretation. Then come to your own conclusions.